share this around.
Okay, we are live again. Oh man, Steve, okay.
I'm going to check the sound this time. Let's see if the sound works.
Let's double check.
Oh yes, it's working.
Yes. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I like that Jake said no volume, just vibes. I think it's just us talking. Oh man, that was a really good conversation that they just missed as well, Steve.
Yeah. So what we were talking about?
We were just talking about we started with Tesla and how you kind of introduced me to Titanx.
Yeah. Because we've been talking for a while. We've been talking for a few months, and we talked in August when you first told me about Phoenix.
Yeah.
That as an idea, and now you're here, almost ready to launch.
Yeah. And it just feels like yesterday when we had that call. It really does. It feels like time has just completely gone, and now I'm so close to launching. It's so exciting. And all these protocols, that was before Vault was even out, I believe, right?
Yes. Before Vault, back in August. Let me post the link. I'm gonna post the link here.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna delete this one.
I'll repost it quickly. Oh, that's so funny though. I can't believe we had it with no audio.
Titanx vibes.
Yeah, so how do you feel, Steve, after, obviously throughout that period, it doesn't feel that long, but there's so much that has gone on in Titanx.
Man. So much has gone on in crypto and Titanx, in the world. I mean, we were in the crossroads just a month ago and hit, a crypto crossroads. It was going to go up like macro Bitcoin or go down. And now, like we were just talking about before, and we have massive tailwinds in crypto in the world coming up.
We honestly do. And like you said, that crossroads, it was so, you saw it as soon as Trump came in and was voted, everything started pumping. The markets absolutely loved. And I think that's just a small teaser of what's to come for the next 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's never been, I'm not an American, but there's never been an election which has impacted me more than this one, and I knew was going to impact.
Yeah,
I knew it.
The entire world.
Freedom, travel. I mean, we went through a pandemic in the last few years. I tell you what, during the pandemic, I went through 2 volcanoes, seriously, on 2 different countries, an earthquake, and 1 hurricane. Seriously.
What?
In different, because during the pandemic, I was actually in multiple different countries. Just like I was like, there was me just running. I was moving from country to country, and
oh my God! And
I got into so many natural disasters. Seriously,
and two volcanoes.
2 volcanoes in 2 different countries. Yeah,
how is that?
The second one was the worst. The whole town was covered in ash, and it's like glass. You can't breathe. So I locked myself in my room, and I travel the world with an air purifier. I travel the world. I had 2 suitcases. 1 suitcase was air purifier and a water purifier.
Because I don't.
Yeah. 1 suitcase is an air purifier and a water purifier.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So I don't travel without that. And I was so thankful for that volcano. I mean, after 1 day, it was flashing that it was full, but it was still giving me better air than I could get outside. Because just going outside, the air was like musky.
What are the chances of that? And then you said a hurricane as well?
And a hurricane. Yeah. And I was right by the sea. on a beautiful beach, and this hurricane came. And it was a massive hurricane. Everything got blown down. The palm trees, it was like near the equator. The palm trees were just like...
Really?
Really.
Oh my
God. And an earthquake.
What? How is this? What are the chances of all of
all that happening? And then, of course, a pandemic was going on at the same time. But that was nuts. But
that's like you lived a whole action movie sequence in a few years.
But on the bright side, during the pandemic, I actually experienced a little bit of freedom, because I found countries which didn't have lockdown.
Yeah.
And luckily I was in a country which didn't lock down, but they just shut the airports, so you couldn't leave.
Okay.
And it was a very, very poor country, so you couldn't get anything, but you could walk around and you just go into, you know, most of the restaurants are closed down, but you found it was Cambodia actually. I was in Cambodia. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was beautiful people, lovely country. But yeah, that was my experience.
That must have been so much nicer than being stuck in a country where you have to stay inside and there's no it's kind of weird what you take for granted. Like you said, you're just walking around and there's no one pressuring you to be set to these rules. Like, it's crazy. In the UK, it was like everything was just locked down, allowed out once a day. It was crazy how the world just changed. And then some places, like you said,
it totally, isn't it? It was like, yeah. And then I've never been on social media and not said what was on my mind. I started not saying what's on my mind because I knew I would get banned. And my Twitter following during that time, so many people got banned. I'm not I wasn't really on social media anyway, but like, all my good followers got banned. And it was almost like an access for information. I started joining groups, small groups, which had information. So it was almost like trying to access that information. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
It was like cut off everyone. That is crazy. It is such a crazy time. And it feels like life has kind of just gone back to normal. Obviously, it's different now with Elon having Twitter, which is huge. But it really showed during that time, like how important freedom of speech was, and just being able to do and say what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, it's like Trump getting in. That was one big battle, good and evil, massive impact on our personal life and our crypto. You know, our crypto future.
Literally, our crypto. Yeah, like we were saying before when we were muted, it's if America is talking about potentially buying Bitcoin and having this strategic Bitcoin reserve, if America does this, you bet every other country is going to follow suit. And it's going to be just a gold rush to get as much Bitcoin as possible. And there's only a set amount. There's only 21 million. And obviously,
massive game theory. Yeah, we talked about, you know, Russia indicate they want to get Bitcoin. Trump is putting some in his reserve, national reserve. Companies like Microsoft are indicating they're going to buy, and Amazon are having their vote. So it's this race for the Bitcoin, isn't it?
It's insane. It's so insane. It's literally what everyone. You thought that I thought this would be years down the line, years and years down the line.
Yeah,
but everything's sped up, and it feels like it's happening right now. And it's perfect timing with Titanx. It's perfect timing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely is. It really is. And yeah, thinking about timings, like launch timings, it's like as a build on Titanx, it's tough to decide when you're going to launch. And sometimes you set your parameters, and the game theory is done, and you just got to let the bird fly and let the meme, the degens or play and the games begin type thing. But it's a great thing about these build on Titanx. They're parameters that are known. Everyone knows the parameter before the game begins, and then the game begins. And so, is your timing like? You're launching this week? Did you time it, or are you just ready? Just audits done.
Audits are done. Ready. There's quite a long. There's a 28-day mint phase, so I kind of wanted to get out as soon as possible, and then because like the action really doesn't begin until it's capped after the 28 days. So 28 days, whoever wants to get in, they can. Especially at this kind of low time now, it's like there's the best ratio at the beginning. So the true believers are really going to be the ones holding majority of the supply, which I love, because there's not going to be. It's not all about hype. I mean, even if it's a dull period, the people that really want to get in could get in. And then after 28 days, I think by then Titanx is going to be soaring. And I think that's going to be such a good time for it to become capped, deflationary, and just that's when all the action starts.
Yeah. I think it's a good time to personally. It's good to launch at a low. I think it's a good time to launch at a low. I've got a couple of questions before we get into your protocol, but someone just asked, is the Viper burn turned off? So no, it's not. It's the Nexus. So Viper transformation upgrade. is we turn the Nexus off by implementing the MEV security feature and put it to 0. So the Nexus is no more. And the burn is still going because Vault is still buying and burning Viper. But the burn is now 70% because there's no Nexus.
Nice.
And yeah, so and then next week we'll launch the Viper Boost, which is just another auction on the Viper website for Viper tokens, which will buy Viper through DragonX. So instead of having this Nexus, because we found in hindsight, the Nexus looked good, but then problem with the Nexus is liquidity providers take fees, and they're taking too many fees, and they're putting their ranges
it's kind of
tight.
draining the system.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was like stagnating the system. The price couldn't be free because these liquidity providers were pushing it with these tight ranges, and so it burned. The good thing is it burned a ton of stuff. It bonded 3 low liquidity, 3 deflationary cap supply assets together: DragonX, Viper, and Vault, which is good.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, but it seemed what's best for Viper. Let's use the security feature, stop the Nexus, launch Viper Boost. So the website's going to have 2 auctions: Viper Classic, Viper Boost. Viper Classic is going to burn Viper through Vault. Viper Boost is going to burn Viper through DragonX.
Nice.
And no, it's the same token. It's just a little. It's just like a snake transforms. This is the Viper transformation.
Like sheds its skin. Yeah.
Yeah. The guys in the Telegram really like it. It's just a very simple tweak, and I'm really excited. There's 120 million Viper sitting ready to put in Viper Boost. There's actually $600,000 of DragonX for liquidity and 71,000 of Vault for the whole Viper thing.
Yeah.
So this is in the liquidity wallet, and
that's going to be really interesting then, having the classic and this new kind of upgrade, because both are going to be playing out at the same time.
Yeah, so there's 2 auctions, 4 Viper tokens playing out at the same time. Yeah, so it is interesting, isn't it? We've not seen that. So
even more, even more game theory to be played. Like if one's not closed out yet, you could play it a different way. But this sounds good. It's like, so it's kind of a more focused burn, like a laser beam, instead of like when like you were saying that LP was kind of holding it down. This is like a just straight up burn, very focused, very direct.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like with liquidity, there is a bit of advantage with lower liquidity because price can pump, even though it's harder to sell. So there's a lot of liquidity to add on Viper, but the liquidity is still pretty thick. But yeah, it is definitely more laser focused. It's like these 2 parallel things, both hitting Viper instead of this circular buy and burn. Yeah. So it sounded good on paper, but yeah, in action, it was just it was stagnation.
Like you always say, though, it's all an experiment. Everything's just an experiment. Everything's being done for first, especially the stuff you're doing. It's all a first.
Yeah.
So it's just good that you put it into effect and all these different ideas, because I'm sure that whole idea of the Nexus, like you're going to be able to take parts here and there to make something else to develop the Vault ecosystem even more.
Yes, yeah, and you're right. Titanx is cutting edge of GameFi. These games. I mean, it's exciting. The innovation, all the different protocols. Just one that comes to my mind that I looked at recently was GoatX, and they did something really, really interesting.
Is it when they put the caps? Yes.
Cap every day that decreases. I thought that's actually really interesting to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
I thought
as well, cool, because it's limiting the amount coming into the auctions. And the beauty of the auctions is like it can be so good for price appreciation because the auctions are set whatever the new price is. So if it's capped at the beginning and there's only a certain amount, there's loads of FOMO in. And then if you didn't get in, then it's going to be smaller market cap to start, and then it's easier to push up the price. And then the next auction is going to be set at a newer bar, basically. And then it's just going to be this constant upwards. I mean, in your head, that's what it seems like. But
it is. I think they even have like amount of value, I think this is what it was. The amount of value that comes into GoX every day is set at like 200 grand or something, or 150 grand.
Okay.
And so once the tokens, this is what I understand. Once the tokens, there's no more, you have to wait till the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're right. And it's going to add this kind of scramble in a way, this degen scramble.
It's like programmed FOMO, isn't it? It's like you really don't want to miss out because there's only a certain amount there that you can really get your hands on.
Actually, I think that's really clever, and it goes down like 2% a day. So value is on the liquidity pool will have pressure upwards, which is interesting. And then they have auctions, these perpetual auctions, after everything's gone.
Yeah.
So then everyone can just come in and set the price. The market will decide the price, which is interesting.
Yeah. And that's what I love about these auctions as well. It's literally whatever the market wants, isn't it?
Smooth and Crypto said, I would love to hear Steve's thoughts on Flare. I would love to have you on next week, Smooth and Crypto. I love it. And to go through it and share it. I love it. So let's do it.
Flare's very interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds really, really good. And they're kind of utilizing X28 as well. So they're burning like 38% of all the Titanx that comes in is being burned.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Which is huge.
Yes. Love it. I'm going to reach out, and because I'm back to look into all these tokenomics every week. It's really exciting. Someone asked a question, Steve, what's your outlook on Vault in the near future and any update on stats? Can you remind users on how pillars positively affect Vault? Well, pillars buy a little bit of Vault. So yeah, the pillars is Vault, and probably, so I have a plan going forward about the pillars. Like, I'm kind of putting brakes on it, and there's probably just going to be one more Kaizen, just one more.
Is it on Shogun?
In the Shogun one.
Nice. Yeah.
And the other so I could just a 2-minute interlay just about this.
No,
but so we got these 4. We got Dragon. We got in the Vault auctions, Titanx, DragonX. We got Vault for Titanx, Viper for DragonX, Turbo for Hyper, and then Kaizen for Shogun. These four. And what I'm going to add is a bit of utility. There's going to be Vault staking coming out for the Vault. It's just going to be Vault, and that's LP fee. So everything that I do will just be thrown into this trustless contract, which harvests LP fees for Vault stakers. It might not be a lot, but it's something that is going to benefit Vault holders. So
how would that work? So you can literally just, all the fees, people can just come in, stake their Vault, and would it be for a set amount of time?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do it. So it's not that much. They can choose between 28 and 88 days with a little bit more of the share of the pool if it's 88 days.
Yeah.
I don't want it too long, because just so they can get their Vault back and they can sell it or use it or do something else with it, just so they don't want too long staking. So it's just a bit of utility for the stakers. They're going to stake it, and it's going to be, even if it's just like a 5 or 10% APR, if you want to hold your Vault, it's kind of a cool thing just to store it there somewhere.
100%. Yeah.
It's this yield that I'm looking at and utility that I'm looking at. So the second thing that I'm bringing into the Vault ecosystem is these 4 pillars, Viper, these 3 pillars, Viper, Turbo, Kaizen, and then of course Vault, which is the main one. There's going to be a raffle every day. So it's going to be called Vault Game. So there's going to be like there's this raffle that they come in with their, let's say there's like, let's say $100 of Vault, and it runs every 3 days, and the winner gets 50%, 25%. It goes to the next game every 3 days, and then 25% goes to the treasure vault. So that's
it's kind of like a lottery. Kind of like
I'm calling it the Vault Game, and I'm going to say this is a decentralized raffle. So on the Vault website we have auction, burn, stats, and then game.
It's just
a little. another little thing. It's not going to be a massive launch, but I'll add it just incognito.
Just for fun, yeah.
Yeah, just add it. It's being developed now.
How
Just
did
at
it
the
work?
stage.
Yeah. So would people just enter whenever they want, or would they qualify for going through the auctions, or how would they qualify?
So basically, if you have Turbo, Kaizen, Viper, or Vault, you can just enter this raffle, and it runs decentralized every 3 days, and a winner is picked in a decentralized way every 3 days.
Okay.
And yeah, so I think it's just kind of an interesting thing, just a little thing to tag on on the Vault. So they got the staking, they got the raffle. The third thing is the wheel, and the wheel has changed a lot. I wrote the white paper is done, it's being developed, but the wheel has some really, really interesting things.
Have you shared?
No, I've not shared. I don't mind even sharing, but like,
I would love to know. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so, it's got some interesting things. So the first thing is what you asked me about is the buy and burn is going into a full range LP.
Nice, which is huge. Such a good idea. Such a good idea.
Yeah, and it's like actually, let's say 30% of it a day is going to be taken out, used for the buy and burn, but the rest is going to be staying in there. And a part of it is just going to be locked forever. So when you think of the wheel, there's Ethereum, there's two auctions, Ethereum and Titanx. So a part of it is going to be locked forever in an LP. We just pick a number like 8%, and it's just going to be locked. So the buy and burn can never go below 8% of value in the protocol. Nice. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so if all protocols put their buy and burn in, if they had Ethereum and Titanx as input, just put them in a pool. There's no loss, because to the protocol, zero loss, because if people sell, they just get more Titanx in their LP, and the protocol is going to be using the Ethereum to buy Titanx anyway.
When it comes out, yeah.
So the Ethereum comes out of this locked LP that is generating fees, and the Ethereum is going to buy. It's just going to buy Titanx. So if there's more Titanx in the pool, that's fine. That's fine. If there's less, it's fine too, because it's going to buy Titanx anyway.
Yeah.
So there's no loss to protocol value.
It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win. Actually, it's a win for the protocol, because if Titanx does dip, it gets more Titanx for a cheap price.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? And plus the liquidity looks bigger. I mean, I think it's a nice thing. I mean, there's loads of discussion. Does Jake want the liquidity thicker? I've never even asked him, actually. Does he want it? Does he like it? I mean, it's already big, but anyway, I was just thinking of just sticking it in there just to get yield at the very least.
So what would you do with the fees of
the fees? So what the fees can be used when people do this with fees, they can use it for buy and burn, for staking, for lottery. What we're going to do is use it for a lottery for a group of people who acted in a certain way. So it'd be just be given out every 2 weeks, be collected into this wallet, and then just given out to someone. Like it'd probably be the Titanx fees will be given to someone, and the Ethereum fees will be given to someone. Just two random addresses. But the random addresses will be set after 10 days. So in the wheel, when it's launched, I mean, this is in January. This is after the staking and after the raffle.
Not long.
Yeah. And also it's market sentiment depending. I want to feel.
Of course, yeah.
But I've developed this thing called Claim Storm. It's called a Claim Storm. Okay. So a Claim Storm is similar to. It's basically a vault auction every day. So there's 1 million. There's 1 million tokens a day. So there's less. So instead of vault has 100 million a day, we'll just have 1 million tokens a day.
Okay.
So 1 million tokens available a day for the first 10 days, and then the cap supply. So
yeah. So similar.
It's similar. But 1 million a day, and there's an auction, but there's an. I'm going to define a name, but there's an option. There's a way to do a delayed gratification for your claim. So you can auction, and if you have a delay, if you want to delay your gratification of claiming your tokens, delay your claim, you can delay your claim from 15 to 30 days, just a short time. But if you delay 15 days, you get an 18% bonus of your value in.
Nice.
And if you delay 30 days, you get an 88% bonus of your value in. So that's what I'm doing. So I've named this a claim storm. It's a vault auction style with a delay gratification system, kind of like that.
Okay, yeah.
Like that.
Have you had a chance to look at Mike's Matrix white paper?
I haven't had a chance to look at it.
So it's got something called a patient incentive pool, and it's kind of you can wait longer to claim and you get more Matrix token. And this sounds like very similar because you're making the supply not liquid and incentivizing people to have it locked away. So the supply that is out is much smaller for the liquid. So the buy and burn can be way more effective, basically. Push up the price, and then the auctions are more profitable.
Yes, that's great. I spoke to Mike yesterday on a call. He mentioned about it. Yeah, so yeah, that's a really exciting innovation he did. That's a really cool thing to do. I love the name too, the patience pool. That's a nice. I think these guys get rewarded with Mike's patience pool with isn't the buy and burn?
Yeah, so 5% of the buy and burn goes towards them. So their matrix bags just slowly grow, and then it's a temptation whether to leave the pool or stay in there, basically.
Yeah, that's nice.
But this sounds really, this sounds
like a claim storm. So what's going to happen is the value coming in 50% is going to go to a buy and burn. So another thing I've done, I've got these refuel buy and burns.
Okay.
And 10% of the buy and burn, like 10% of the value in, is going to go to day 36 refuel, and 5% is going to go to day 88 refuel. And all it is, it's a contract holding a certain amount, and when day 36 arrives, it just gets transferred to the main buy and burn. On day 88, it's going to get transferred. So these are refuel buy and burn. So the buy and burn is going to get refueled.
Okay, so that's really smart. So kind of like the vortex for hyper, because there's going to be a lot of supply out at that period of time. So you're re-injecting the buy and burn to try and, if people do dump, you're just buying it all back up.
Exactly. And it's because people can, because of the claim storm, they have a 15 to 30 day thing, delay gratification.
Yeah.
There's extra buy and burn to buy up these tokens that people have delayed their gratification. So we want to refuel the buy and burn. And 35% of the protocol is just going to go into the normal buy and burn. But when we start the buy and burn, 100% of the value is going to be used. 100%. So everything that comes in everything in the buy and burn is going to be used that day. Then it's going to go down 5% a day, 95% of the buy and burn.
So day one, 100%. Day two, sorry, 100% of everything that comes in to the buy and burn from day one is being used.
Exactly.
Wow. And a lot of the supply is going to be locked up in the delayed gratification pool, waiting.
Which is interesting too. Yeah. So
this is such a good idea.
Yeah. And then
such a good idea.
And so the fourth thing I've got is, this is the last thing, then we just move on, but I've called it burn lock. Like it's a staking burn lock. So 30% of the supply goes into staking, and there's two pools, one on day 12 and one on day 32. So the day 12 one is available for everyone who didn't do the delayed gratification. It's on day 12, rolling. The day 32 comes out if you enter day one and do full delayed gratification for 30 days. You're going to be able to enter this day 32 pool.
Straight
day 32. Yeah. So the value of the protocol is set into it, but what the burn lock does is you have to enter, of course, with wheel token and vault.
Nice.
Yeah. So what happens is 100% of that is burnt. So all the wheel goes back to wheel treasury, all vault goes back to vault treasury, and you get in its place, you get a share rate, and that share rate decreases 18% every 12 days. So it's a decision. Are you going? Do you want to burn lock? It's not. I'm not even calling it staking. It's going to call burn locking.
Yeah,
because you're burning and locking. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't get those tokens. You're not claiming those tokens back. You're just entering that pool to get the rewards. Yeah,
exactly. So it's just game theory. So I'm going to have to make it really clear on the website. I'm going to have a big warning. Your tokens are lost forever if you enter the staking pool. They're burnt forever. But so that's 30% of the value of the protocol. So and the lottery only goes for people who entered the auction and delayed gratification 30 days, and forever they're part of the lottery. Their address is part of the lottery. And so that's basically it. That's what we're doing. And it's got some pretty interesting things in, but like I said, I'm really thinking of after this wheel thing, I want to bring some utility and stuff. So I'm on the drawing board for that. And but man, that's enough of me.
No. So can I just ask one question? What's your kind of thought process? You have all these ideas.
Yeah.
How do you kind of come to all these conclusions? What's your kind of thought process? How does your brain work?
Oh, I want to link everything together. That's what I want to do. So the wheel is linked, the pillars are linked, and like I said, I'm abandoning these pillars apart from Kzen, but I want to make this pillar game because I've got all the websites, I've got everything. So I'm going to make this pillar game and have all the ones that I said in a game. And so I want to develop an NFT game.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. So how do I work? It's like linking things together. So that's basically it. And
so will the wheel still be on top of the 4 pillars?
Yeah. So they'd be binded by the liquidity, but I didn't want value being. I'm trying to think of. I'm just trying to think of values. I thought of what's best for the user. So I'm thinking what's best for the wheel user, and I try to start there, rather than what's best for everything else. So what's best for the user that comes in, and then we can burn this and burn that. And stuff like that.
And when it comes to liquidity, this really, I find this really interesting with how DragonX worked because obviously there was that time when no one was I remember looking at it, it was like 2 million market cap. It was insane. And I remember buying in and it was literally pushing up the price just with small $100 buys because there was literally no liquidity there. Do you think for projects, obviously it's good to have thick liquidity, but it's also good for price appreciation if the price kind of gaps up? What do you kind of think? Do you lean, obviously you lean more towards having really thick liquidity, but do you think there's pros to having both?
Yeah, I mean, and also what is thin liquidity? Because it's depending, like if you get massive buys, if it's thin liquidity, it might prevent some people coming in for a big buy because they can't sell. And it's a discouragement if there's massive slippage.
True.
But it's like Dip Catcher on Pulse Chain. He did this thing called roof pulls, he called it. And what he did, he had liquidity. He pulled the liquidity, or pulled a big percentage of the liquidity. Used what burnt the token, and what's on the sell side used to buy his token. And then what he bought, he would just put back into liquidity again, and then the price is up.
Wow. Imagine if you could program that in. So on the weekends, you have really thick liquidity, and then that's when people buy and sell. But then during the week, you take it out and you make the buy and burns really ramp up to push up the price. And then you put thick liquidity back in for the weekend so people can get in and out. And you're very transparent about it. It's not like a rug or something like that. That would be
like a decentralized way of like shifting liquidity.
Yeah. Is that even possible? Do you think that would be possible?
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely do it. And it's like in the whole turbo thing. Like, look at turbo right now. It has 168. So, or we could look at something else, and or turbo has 168,000 of sell side. So, and 168,000 of buy side. So you put $300,000, one seller of one buy of $300,000 would 4x the price of Turbo.
Yeah,
The way the
which is
liquidity works.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if there's less liquidity, price goes up. But yeah, I like the big thick liquidity because I just like giving people option to sell and option to buy, option to sell and option to buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's interesting when if it is low liquidity, it's like Phoenix when it comes out and buys Inferno, because it's buying Inferno, isn't it?
Yep.
Like if we look at Inferno has so it has 500,000 of liquidity, 180,000 in the sell side. So I mean, this can move pretty quick. It's still pretty thin.
Yeah.
And
what I'm excited.
Yeah.
What I'm excited for is the Blaze and Flux, because we're gonna have to obviously DCA in over a long period of time, but the liquidity for both is quite thin. So the price could, after we get a decent amount for the stakes, could be pushed up quite easily if more people coming in are interested about the protocols.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for protocols.
And it's so good for the auctions. It's so good for the auctions because literally the auctions are just mirrored of whatever the price is. If the price is 2x, there's 2x coming in through the auctions. There's 2x in the reward pools. There's 2x for all the stakers. That's what I love about the auctions. That's so interesting. And I love the staking, like especially with Blaze. I really like what you guys did, because that was the first kind of introduction into Titanx, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When did you get into Titanx, by the way?
It was around day 30, the second kind of wave of users coming out.
Yeah. Where did you find it from? Just curious.
It was Kyle Chase on a YouTube video. He literally just talked about it for 30 seconds. And I was like, literally the shortest clip ever. And it was super low market cap. And I was like, okay, let me just go and see what I can find. And I watched Jake go through the white paper and I was like, wow.
Oh yeah.
And then I listened to it again, because it does take for me anyway, it took me a few reads to really grasp what was going on.
Yes. I was like, yes.
Yeah. And I think that's the same with a lot of white papers. With Volt, I read it a few times and then it clicked and I was like, wow.
Yeah. You're right. And you know, we look back at we look back at like Titanx tokenomics. It's like, for us, it's like kind of simple now. But at the time, it was mind blowing.
It still is.
Yeah.
It's like, it almost feels common because in Titanx it is being used, like you said, we're used to it. But outside of crypto, this is not being done at this scale at all. Volt was such a first that the fuel it brings in is mirrored to the price. If the price goes up, there's more fuel coming in, and it's this kind of perpetual system, all fueling each other. So interesting.
Yeah. Jake just asked about the staking. Yeah, so it's for Volt staking. It's stake and forget. You just stake it and you forget. So there's no penalties. If you stake 88 days and it's 100 days, it's just no penalties. Just the same. Just you can unstake it.
Are they removed from the pool after the 88 days though?
No, they stay in the pool, and it's just, I'm just making it as simple and easy as possible. So and also I'm doing it how, if I wanted to stake, I don't want to be penalized. I don't want to lose my tokens. You know what I mean? So I just do it how I want to do it, how I would want to stake a token.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So
perhaps if some whales come in though, and then they forget about it and then dilute the pool.
That's fine. Yeah. It's fair enough because they took the risk. They bought their coins. They deserve this.
Still benefiting, and I guess that Volt's locked away. Kind of off market, so.
It is, isn't it? It's locked too, and it's not like, I don't even know if the APR is going to be that big. It just depends what the LP fees are. It might be quite small, but it's just something. I might not even have a bigger launch. I'm just going to do it. It's just something to add, just like the raffle is something to add.
Yeah,
you know, just to add just something for them. There's no genesis in the staking. It's just there. It's taking time to do. It's still being programmed, but we should begin to audits. Like maybe in a week.
Nice. Yeah, so do you think December it'll be launched?
I think it'll be January.
Okay.
Staking
January. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the wheel shortly after.
Is it kind of? I'm actually really excited about the wheel. I haven't talked. This is the first time I talked about it, and well, I just want to see the vibe. I see the vibe
Yeah.
of people. Oh, if they want these GameFis, and and if not, I can just keep it in the top pocket and just do like I've got some good utility ideas too. So just take it day, just take it day at a time.
I have
And yeah,
I have found as you like build something, you have all these ideas that just don't work for your project. But I think because all the time you're just thinking about what would
yeah,
work, what would work, what would work. And
yeah,
then you have
yeah,
these ideas that you kind of put to the side. And it sounds like you have a whole long list of these ideas, but it's so good like that you have these future projects that all kind of build on top of each other. And that's what I loved about Titanx. Everything's building on top of each other. Everything's gonna, if it benefits Volt, benefits Titanx. It's just this
yeah,
amazing cyclical system, like you were talking about.
yeah. There's nothing in crypto which you can use a coin and have so many games to play. You get Titanx and you got this load of games to play in. And in crypto, we like games. It used to be just hold this meme coin,
Yeah,
and just let it be.
and pray.
But now we got all these different games, and it's player vs player. And then, Ali's got his NFT game coming. Other games are coming out. I saw another game, and it's just more things coming, more opportunity, more kind of utility meme-fi things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's totally unique, isn't it?
Yeah. So for the growth of Titanx for 2025, what do you kind of expect? Obviously, all these new projects coming out.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you that question too. But for me, I really want utility, like more utility, and not as like, let's tick off the boxes and have these things. Let's have multiple dexes, multiple loaning, multiple this and that.
Yeah.
Different adding. If they add GameFi into a certain utility, even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting. It's interesting. It's really interesting and useful, and yeah. So I'd like to see loads more utility, like real utility. And when I say utility, I mean value derived from the protocol, rather than coming from the outside. So the protocol's existence is generating something valuable. You know what I mean? As in like fees or probably something like that.
And there's all these, and there's these different, like you said, for the meme coins, you're not just holding and waiting and praying for it to go up. You can actively use your Titanx for all these different things. You can use your Vault for all these different things. I think that's such a good point. And it's kind of like having utilities kind of like infrastructure, isn't it? It's like putting in this layer that really makes it our ecosystem prepared for a whole influx of users, because there's all these different opportunities especially with Ouroboros and like Titan Farm. All of this stuff is, in my opinion, it's waiting for that users, because obviously users are going to come in, but that's the most difficult thing to control. Really, we can try our best, but as we can build really cool stuff to just, when the users do come, they're satisfied, and it takes Titanx to that next level.
Titan Farms is my favorite protocol on Titanx. I love Titan Farms. I like it. I like what he's done with a full range LP. It's burning. It's a farm. It's all the tokens we have. So yeah, that is a beautiful, and it'd be nice to have more stuff like that. Interesting is when multi-chain starts taking off. When that button is pressed, and XP8 can go to base. We're going to get nicer games, because you can make a way better game on Avalanche, and Ethereum's too expensive. So it could have a ton of good GameFi when that button is pressed.
And it's like all these experiments with these projects coming out on Ethereum, it's like we're kind of perfecting to see what the best tokenomics are, and then as soon as you go to a new chain, you're going to have this perfected product that you can launch, and it's already tested, and it's amazing, and it's just going to blow that chain away and be even bigger, which is going to bring in even more users there, and hopefully bring them back over to Ethereum as well.
It's because it's all sources. It's Zen was like different cities being built, but this is one city, and Rome, Titanx, and the roads blowing off on that. And do you know if there's a way to get on Solana?
I think that's the one thing that Jake was saying is more difficult, but I think he found a way. I think he said there's still a way to do it. I think going on Solana would be Would be big.
Yes.
A lot of money there.
It's man, it's such a. I really like Solana.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
don't have
You were big. You were big
I
into
don't have any
Solana,
Solana.
right?
I like Solana. I just like the chain and I like the future for
Yeah,
Solana. But yeah, man, that it. I mean, X28 Shogun. I mean, let's get that when these auctions have done and Shogun. It's going to be interesting. Hold Shogun or hold Titanx. It's interesting, isn't it?
yeah. I think Shogun, obviously, maybe it's been suppressed a little bit by the market conditions and from people getting their stakes and just claiming them as liquid. But after the 28 days, that's not possible anymore. And if you look at the stats for Shogun, over 25% is locked up or burn or not on the market. It's insane. And it's not even halfway through its 28-day mint. So I think Shogun after the 28 days is going to be huge because even the war chest just from the taxes is growing. So that means it's like similar to Vault. There's the auction balance is always going to be there and it's going to be really, really thick. So there's always going to be more income coming through these auctions.
Oh, yeah, that's and the burning of it's really interesting. Like I really like Shogun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the difficult thing with the auctions is making sure there's enough fuel, making sure there's enough of the token in the auctions to always have perpetual auctions, always fueling and kind of being recycled. That's the key difficult bit, isn't it?
Yeah, to get that balance.
Mm.
Yeah, when Vault was launched, it was hard to know because you can put it in on a spreadsheet, but it's hard to know. It's just tough to know what's going to happen. Because depending, I mean, if price is low, like you said, on a protocol like Shogun, Vault, whatever, more goes into that perpetual auction.
Yeah,
more goes available. When price goes higher, it becomes more expensive to buy. But with Shogun, you got that buy and sell tax, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out after day 28 and see how it runs after that.
Yeah, especially when volume picks up and this LP web really comes into play, and all the taxes are taking place, and they're all getting sent to the war chest, which is just fueling even more auctions, which is always being kind of recycled back in. I can't wait to see what happens after then.
Yeah. These I mean, on the wheel, I put in a tax. I put in the 8% tax to see what would happen. You know, like you remember SafeMoon back in the day? That was a tax token, wasn't it?
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I never got into it, but I remember hearing about it.
Yeah. Well, when there's a Titanx tax token on another chain, and gas is cheaper, like on base, you could do. It's gonna be interesting to have something like SafeMoon, because if you do loads of things with the tax, it gets expensive. So on base, I think adding you can have tax, because I think SafeMoon was on Binance. So if you're on a cheaper chain, you can do things with the tax that are gas intensive, like adding to liquidity, like automatically and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting next few months. Yeah, X28, real big game changer with Shogun, adding the utility and function to it.
And the amount of Titanx is burning is only going to benefit and lift all the projects on Titanx with it.
Yeah. And the liquidity that Shogun is providing between all protocols is just a massive bonus to everyone. It's massive for everyone.
I literally can't wait for it. Yeah, I think with the auctions, that's what I kind of wanted to achieve with Phoenix, is making sure there's always enough fuel in them, and that's what we have. So we got the stake in Flux, Blaze, and Titanx, which are kind of fueling the auctions externally. So even if Phoenix goes up or down, we still have these free income sources that are always fueling it and kind of stable.
It's nice. It's nice to have that that kind of like an intrinsic value coming back to your protocol. So Phoenix, if you were to just describe it in like one sentence or one word, start with one word. One word, and then we'll move on from there.
One word.
If that's possible.
I think I like scarce.
Scarce, yeah. How about one sentence now?
Okay, one sentence. Hyper deflationary for independent buy and burn streams.
Ooh, Is it 4 in the
Four,
buy-and-burn
yeah.
streams? And what are the 4 streams?
So we have Titanx stake,
Oh
we
yeah,
have a Blaze stake, Flux stake, and then we have perpetual daily auctions, very similar to Vault, where it's recycled. 80% is recycled back to buy more Phoenix, and then 15% goes to support the free stakes to make sure they're always growing as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I saw the changes Jake made on Titanx website, and I thought this is really, really good.
Yeah, the changes. Okay. Yeah.
Supply stats at the beginning, and I go there every day now just to see what's going on. It's one of the things it's one of my websites that's always open. Is this stats page, and so you staked it. I mean, there's not much income, is there, for the staking?
Not at the moment. Staking? Yeah, obviously it's not profitable to mine at the moment, but I've had this. Some people are like, "Oh, do you think mining will ever come back?" I mean, in my opinion, if you're bullish on Titanx, it's gonna come back. I think it's a 3 to 4x away from being profitable again to mine. And if you're bullish on Titanx and you're investing in Titanx, I'm pretty sure everyone thinks it's going to be able to do those numbers. And it's kind of like this safe, even if this cycle is not super profitable, I like having that stake there for the super long term. Because as long as Titanx is alive and doing well, we're always going to have part ownership in those payout pools. So it's kind of like the longevity. Flux is the more aggressive one because it's priced in Titanx, the payouts. And Blaze is kind of like safe, secure in Ethereum as well.
Oh yeah. And you've got the 888 day payout, which has $4 million of ETH value in right now, and it's about a year and a half away. And so that'd be a nice injection in the protocol. Be interesting how much of that you'll get.
Yeah. So that obviously Dragon X is, I think he's got 50% of the entire payout pool, and Helios has a lot as well. I hope Phoenix can have a decent stake as well, especially with all the stakes burning to go into Shogun. I think it's going to be able to let the protocols have more ownership in the Titanx payout pool. And we already have GoX is sending Titanx to our stake, and we have Matrix sending some Titanx to our stake. So it should.
Oh wow! So they're sending to your Titanx stake.
Yeah. So we should have a decent stake in there.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good idea, actually.
And it's like, so obviously Phoenix is built on Inferno. And so when we get the rewards from the Titanx stake, half is used to kind of maintain the stake. The other half is sent to the Phoenix buy smart contract. But that routes for Inferno. So market buys Inferno, pumps up Inferno, and then buys Phoenix. But obviously all the projects on top of Inferno benefit from us buying Inferno because it pumps up Inferno, pumps up their projects. So any future projects that want to burn Titanx is kind of the best option to burn through our stake because you're directly benefiting your project in the future because as the rewards come back in, they're funneling through Inferno instead of sending them to Helios or Dragon X, which is just directly don't bring it back to your system. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So if you're in that ecosystem of Blaze, Flux, yeah, absolutely. And it's a really good idea because you're burning Titanx, locking Titanx in a stake, and benefiting your protocol. So, if a protocol is in a whole different eco, like I don't know, like instead of sending it to something else, you can just send it to you just have your own stake. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just have your own stake.
Because I really wanted to obviously meet the ethos and burn as much Titanx as possible, but I was like, and this is true. Jake has said it. Like a lot of projects, the amount of Titanx being burnt it started off at like 20%, then it went to 8, then it went to 5, and it's slowly shrinking. And I wanted to meet the ethos as best as possible. And I was like, I can't just send 20% of the economic energy away from our protocol. And I was like, this stake is going to be the perfect answer.
Yes, absolutely. So you got how much of protocol value is going to these 4 stakes?
So 3 stakes.
Oh, 3 stakes.
Yeah. So 20% of everything that comes in gets sent to Titanx stake. So it's basically 20% of everything comes in that's burnt the Titanx.
Yes.
There's 28% that goes to Flux. And then there's only 9% that goes to Blaze. But for the first 110 days, 100% of the Ethereum rewards are reinvested into that stake to make it as big as possible. And then after the 110 days, the allocation's split to match the other stakes. And that will be just before the 288 day payout for Blaze, which will be good.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. And how much is in the buy and burn again?
The buy and burn is 35%.
Right. Is that like, did you do a decentralized one or like
It's similar to Titanx one, because
yes.
it's going to be quite hard to predict. I love the Vault one, fully decentralized, but it's going to be so hard to predict how much. Let's say Blaze, the 288-day payout, brings in loads of Ethereum all at once to the buy and burn.
Yes.
We don't want to use all of that fuel straight away, so we want it to be like set and gradual. But it's just difficult to predict on participation how much you can use for the buy and burn.
Yeah. You know, that's a big thought that I've been giving is where value is going in the protocol. Because if you blow it all at the beginning of the protocol, there's nothing left in later on. So
That's
for the wheel, that's why, you know, basically 30% to rewards, 45% of the value goes into the future.
Yeah.
So it's just it's worth thinking of when you're designing these tokenomic systems. Where is value coming in? When value comes in, how is it dispersed? And because like if you have a mining protocol and then people who do max miners and everything's been blown in the first month or the first few weeks, these guys at the end don't have anything look forward to. But, you know, in with Titanx, they had something to look forward to because they knew there was a big reward pool, and they knew that there's a massive buy and burn. So they feel safe.
And
it's fair.
I think I love the things that are kind of sustainable for the future as well. And that's what I had in mind, that always building Phoenix. But I'm sure you agree, like as a builder, it's the only thing you really think about is the longevity of your project. You really want it to survive. You don't want it to be blown in a very short period of time. You want it always to be, and that's when you build more stuff on it. It's just to make sure that it survives and it carries on doing well. And I think that's like, you don't want something that just blows very quickly in a short period of time. You want, as an investor, you want them to come in and be like, okay, this is the long term. There's a future to this. There's always sustainability. There's always fuel coming in. That's what I love about projects when I look to invest.
Absolutely. And then when it kind of runs out, it becomes a sort of meme coin, like Dodge, Shiba. They don't have anything coming in but buyers, really. And you know, like a lot of these game theories, like I think a Vault is the future of Vault just some sort of meme coin. You know what I mean? It has a big liquidity pool. You know, a lot of these things, when they run out of steam, they just become like a meme coin, and it's just interesting to see see, because unless it has some sort of utility. So like I'm excited for Morpheus's thing. I think their DEX coming out, and I think, but you're right. I mean, you're with the staking pool. You have value in the future coming in. I mean, in 8 days, you have part of a 4 million. You have a part of a 1,100 of ETH, a percent of that. You know what I mean? So
and it's like, imagine if Titanx does a 5x from here or however much, mining becomes profitable again. I remember how crazy it was for the mining at the beginning, the rewards. We're going to have a part ownership in that. If Flux does really well and just starts pumping, we have a part ownership in that. Same with Blaze. It's like, it's kind of spreading the risk across these protocols, but also benefiting them continuously.
Yes, right. And your users benefited because they're getting a part of each. They're getting
exactly.
Yeah. So launch is how what's the distribution of the token? Launch is this Saturday, is that right?
Launch is this Saturday, and so it's very similar to how DragonX had their kind of mint phase. You come in and it's just 1-to-1 with Titanx for the first 24 hours only, and when you come in, you put in your Titanx and you have to wait 24 hours before you can claim your tokens, and that's just because otherwise throughout the mint phase, people could come in, if there's an ROI, come in, mint Phoenix, sell Phoenix straight away, and just dump the price. So it's kind of preventing bad actors from just coming in to dump. It's only people that want the token kind of for the long term, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right. So how many days is that mint phase?
28 days.
And so 28 days, and does the amount you get go down a little bit?
Yeah, so it's 1-to-1 for 24 hours. And then from day 2 till 4, it's 1 to 0.95. And then from 4 to 8, it's reduces every 4 days after. Sorry, it reduces by 0.025.
Oh yes.
So it's a slow kind of decline down, and then at the last day on day 28, it's a 1 to 0.8 ratio, and then after the 28 days, cap supply, no more coming out ever. Which that's what I can't wait for.
Oh yeah, and then you have your perpetual auction thing kicking in.
Yep. So day 29, the auctions start, and we've actually we're only using 1% of our auction balance daily.
Oh right.
Yes. Yeah. So only 1%. So that auction balance is going to be the biggest holder of Phoenix.
Right.
And we're only using 1%. And the reason I wanted to do that is, if the price is low, it means the free stakes are always adding more fuel to that auction balance, and that auction balance is always growing. If Phoenix becomes really valuable and the free stakes aren't able to add to the auction balance, it doesn't matter, because that auction balance is so big. 1% is going to be so valuable, and that's always recycled back into the system.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. It's like a semi-locked thing, because you know that you can calculate how much is going to be locked into the future, because 1% coming out a day.
And it doesn't sound like a lot, because Volt 20%. Yeah. Obviously 1% and 20. It sounds like tiny, but over 30 days is 25% of that entire balance is used. So there's still a lot being used, but I never want that balance to run dry. I always want there to be Phoenix in there, especially because I love Dragon X. And when it kind of absolutely pumped, I remember there was the 369 payout, and this is before Hydra. Before Hydra. And the only thing was this big payout coming out, but the valuation was like 50-60 million. And I remember thinking, okay, this is you could possibly say this is overvalued now, because there's only this payout coming out in the future. Obviously, Hydra came out and it's absolutely done amazing. But with this way with Phoenix, it's no matter how high or low, how high the valuation goes, there always is this constant inflow of Titanx that's mirroring the price through the auctions.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's like a staking. It's like a staking derivative protocol participating in the 3 staking protocols.
Yep.
With a perpetual auction, and man.
And honestly, Steve, shout out to you. So I had the idea of we were going to mint 8% of whatever the supply was after day 28, and that was going to be used for auctions, and that was going to build a Titanx stake. And obviously that would run out after a certain amount of time. But then Volt came out, and I was like, why am I doing the auctions this way? Like, this just makes so much more sense. Perpetual, always, literally forever. So a lot of the inspiration for Phoenix came from Volt.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's like, it is a cool little system. That perpetual auction thing is simple.
Yeah.
In hindsight, but
it makes so much sense on a capped deflationary project where there's no inflation. It's just buying up its own supply. It's I was thinking this. Did you, obviously you're part of the Blaze team, but how, I imagine you were heavily into the way that Blaze works with the tokenomics, with the distribution, especially after what's happened with Volt. Were you like heavily behind the tokenomics of Blaze?
Yeah, it was kind of my idea at the beginning. I said, let's guys, because I put in Jake's mastermind, hey, he wants to do a protocol, just message me, and then we capped it, and then, so what are we doing? And I said, I got a good idea, let's get a call. And then I said, let's do DB. I was like proposing it to them and persuading them about a DBZen. I said, let's do DBZen idea, let's start from there and take it from the DBZen. And then from there it got built, and the guys came up with some ideas. Like Irish came up with like the Diamond Hand Club, which was really good. We all loved it, and we just added it, and it turned out a totally different protocol than DBZen. But the inspiration starting point were there.
And that kind of distribution model of the auctions, I think that personally is better than the virtual mining, in my opinion.
I like it too. I do too. I like it. But Volt idea came from chatting to Jake. I chatted to him twice about it,
Yeah.
And then we had Vault, and then we had Vault. To be honest
Wow.
with you. I said
Yeah.
that before, but like,
Yeah. Didn't you say it was originally kind of for staking? You wanted
it
to kind
was,
of reward
it was.
holders.
It was a 100% staking protocol. That
Yeah.
was, and but recycling in exactly the same way. And the wheel is now like half staking, half buy and burn, and it's a bit better. It's better than the original. But yeah, and then I spoke to Jake, and he said he just gave a good idea about make it buy and burn. I was like, yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting using that buy and burn. You're buying the tokens, selling them. You can put them in. You can do so many things. Burn them, lottery, give them to stakers. You know, buy another protocol. It adds so much, doesn't it? It's just taking the buy and burn to another level.
Yeah. I think Vault kind of blew up this whole. All the projects that are coming out now, you can kind of see traces of Vault in them.
Oh, that
makes
that is an honor, isn't it? That is really cool. It's cool. It's really, really cool. That actually, I like that. Yeah. Man, I've got a couple of. I've got to bounce, but I'm going to ask you. I've got to ask you a few questions before I go.
Yeah.
And it was my show, and now it's your show. So questions. But like, but okay. I usually do this when I interview someone, but like, I want to ask you, what's your favorite band? Your music?
I quite like Arctic Monkeys at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, my sister listens to them a lot, and I've been listening, and I was like, yeah, you know what, this sounds quite good.
Oh, so to them a lot. Are they rock or jazz?
Arctic Monkeys is like, yeah, it's kind of rock, kind of pop. I don't know. It's kind of like a merge. Yeah.
Honestly, I've listened to it. I've never heard of them.
Listen to Are You Mine? That's a good one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about yourself? What's your favorite band?
That's a good question. I don't really have a favorite band, but I like chilled music, relaxing, inspirational. One of my favorite ones is right now. Doesn't have any words. It's the Gladiator theme song.
Yeah.
It's really.
I've been listening to that after watching Gladiator 2. I was like, yeah, this is really good.
I've not seen Gladiator 2, but yeah. So I listen to that a lot, and I feel inspired. Like these inspirational, anything like inspirational. I play guitar, so like a bit of acoustic guitar now and again.
Nice.
I'm honestly just chilled. Like, I guess in the past I liked stuff like Beatles,
the
Beatles,
the classic,
stuff like that. That's a good question.
Do you kind of listen to it? Do you listen to it as you kind of are working and going through these ideas? Do you think it kind of helps, or is it more when you relax?
That's a good thing. Like, I need to learn how to relax because I don't think I'm relaxing. Honestly, I'm always thinking.
Yeah.
I'm always doing something. Like I've just bought a Cajun drum, and I just sit there, just started to play my drum. The Cajun. So, I was still thinking, and I guess I like to go on a drive.
Same.
Just a drive.
Yeah. Just to think.
Just to rest my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm still concentrating on the road. It's something to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I remember when Vault launched. I didn't even sleep. I was just lying on my bed.
Really, just staring.
Waking up in the morning. Then after that Titanx conference, I was so exhausted, and I thought, like, I didn't really stop the things I was doing, like promoting and things and thinking, but I stopped streaming just to get some rest. To be honest with you, but now I'm back
Steve is back. He's back
to interview, try to listen to everyone again.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm glad you came on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. The wheel sounds so good.
Yeah.
Like genuinely so good. Because you're going to have a really quite aggressive like Vault, but a lot of the supply is going to be locked up waiting for the rewards in the future. So it's going to be able to push up the price during the 10-day mint, which is going to make the auctions more profitable, more people coming in. I mean, hopefully, in theory. And then also when that large supply does come out, you also have I don't know what you called it, but when there's the buy and burn is injected with more to kind of eat up that supply again. It sounds really thought out.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting. You set these parameters and just take it from there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Cryptographics gave some advice for us, bro. Just lay down and breathe. And I love to I'd love to have cryptographics on.
I did a stream yesterday. Awesome. His new protocol as well, Taurus.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's really interesting. Yeah, definitely have him
It's
on.
really, really, really interesting. I still get my head around it.
Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to understand as well.
Yeah, but I like it. I really like it.
Yeah.
He's like a genius. What he does. Like, I've listened to cryptographics for literally years, and I mean all his masterminds. Yeah.
So even before Titanx.
I was listening to him during Hex and Icosa.
Wow.
And all the maths and the spreadsheet.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is that's really cool.
Yeah. Let me ask a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
What one word describes you best?
I'd say happy.
Yeah. You definitely got that positive vibe.
Yeah.
Positive.
I'd say
yeah.
I feel very fortunate to be in the position I'm in now with Titanx and with everything. I don't know, just everything feels like it's falling into place. I feel very happy, very fulfilled. And no matter what happens, it's like just having this position to come on with people like you, Steve. It's just so cool. So yeah, I'd say happy.
Oh, that's great, man. There's a book called Strength Finder.
Okay.
Strength Finder. I get it. It's a book. It's really useful because you answer questions and stuff, and it gives you your qualities and businesses and stuff. Do it for team building and to find out people can interact together the best. And I did it, and number one was positivity for me. I was like, I really do like positive.
Yeah.
Stuff. And the second was learning. Like, I am a big learner. So positivity, learning, and other stuff. But like learning, and that's learning is a powerful thing because you just if you have a strength of learning and a love for learning, you can do anything and just figure and just because you want to learn. Like that's why I like these interviews because I was trying to learn something.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You learn something new. You view these different perspectives that people have, and it's such a good point about learning. It's like I think that's what separates really successful people from everyone else is just they just have that drive to learn and find out things that other people aren't willing to do.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like you see, I think Elon Musk reads a book a day. That's what about my wife told me. Like
I'm trying to read more books.
Yeah. But you stand on the shoulders. Just stand on the shoulders of giants. Because it's hard to figure everything out. So if someone's figured it out, take what they've done and then stand on the shoulders. It's like in Titanx, like we take what people have done and stand on the shoulders of what they've done and like passing the baton on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And everyone's kind of just learning from each other because it is an experiment, but it's just such a good community we have here.
It is, yeah.
Everything kind of benefits, Great stream, Steve. Great stream. I think this is my favorite stream I've done. For sure.
Oh, man.
For sure. This has been really, really good. Even the first bit that was muted, that was good as well.
Oh man, that's great stuff. Great, man. It's awesome. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's get together again. And I'm really looking forward to your launch this Saturday.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Oh, stand on the shoulders.
But I'm excited.
Stand on the shoulders of Titans. That's it. That's what we're doing. It's Titanx.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning. Yeah, it's your stream, so you got to end it.
Oh right, my bad. Yeah, thanks guys for coming.